Hey folks, just wanted to do a short video and tell you why, as a longtime Apple fan, I have returned my Apple iPad. First of all, let me say that I've been a Mac fan since pretty much day one. I've been using Mac since like 1984, and I currently own a Mac Pro, a MacBook Pro, as well as an iPhone 3GS. So why did I return my Apple iPad, you ask? Well, mainly just because I couldn't justify it. And let me explain. First of all, as a e-reader, I much prefer my Amazon Kindle because of the fact that the Amazon Kindle is lighter. The iPad is quite heavy to hold in your hand to read for long periods of time. So if you're reading like a novel or even a long non-fiction book, it kind of gets on your nerves to hold it up for a long period of time because it's just kind of heavy. It does feel real good in the hand, with the nice aluminum back and the glass front. The iPad is a great industrial design. It just sort of feels awesome in the hand. But unfortunately, it's a bit too heavy. Now, they, of course, do have cases that turn into stands that you can kind of use to prop it up, and that's fine. But for the type of reading that I like to do, I just don't really like to prop it up, and it just becomes a little bit of a hassle. I prefer to just hold it in my hand, like especially when I'm lying down or something like that. It just, the iPad is just a little bit too heavy. Now, of course, it has a color screen, whereas the Kindle does not. So the color screen is really nice for like photo books, or if you have kids, for like books that have color illustrations, for any books that have like color charts and stuff like that. Also for magazines and newspapers, the iPad looks really, really cool. The screen is really nice on it. Photos look gorgeous on the iPad. But I actually prefer, the e-ink screen technology on the Amazon Kindle, like paper. So I prefer that to the backlit screen of the iPad. Now that said, I did not experience any eye strain or anything with the iPad at all. So the screen on that is quite nice. It's mainly for me sort of a weight issue on that. And in general, for long haul reading, I would prefer the e-ink screen over the backlit screen of the iPad. The other thing too is that I did not see myself. I'm a photographer, one thing I'm really going to miss about the iPad is the photo application, because it's a great way to display your photos to people, like to show your portfolio. It's a whole different experience than, first of all, showing them on the iPhone, because the iPad has so much bigger screen, but also they're able to hold it in their hand like a portfolio, like a book, and then scroll through the pictures, just right there like a book, and that's powerful. I've showed the iPad with my portfolio to lots of people, and they really enjoy doing that. And photos on the iPad just look gorgeous. They look great. The screen on the iPad is just awesome for photos. So that's one thing I'm going to miss about not having the iPad, being a photographer. But still, for the price and everything, that's probably not really a good enough reason for me to keep it, just for that. But I wanted to say that, like, I don't see myself bringing the iPad out with me places because I have an iPhone 3GS. So I'm perfectly happy using the iPhone when I'm out and about to check email, to browse the web and stuff like that, and I just don't see myself using the iPad and taking it with me that many places, primarily because of the heft. It's a bit heavy, and also because of the fact that I already have the iPhone. Now, when I'm at home, the iPad also would not get much use because I'm never far from a computer when I'm at home. And, like for instance, Netflix on the iPad works really well, like the Netflix streaming, the Netflix app. That's really cool. Like if you travel a lot, you'd have access to your Netflix movies. But I'm sort of a cinema purist, and I much prefer to watch my movies on my big HD TV. So I will do Netflix that way, and then again, the iPad is not getting used even when I'm at home that much. So, for all these reasons, I just couldn't justify the iPad, and I ended up returning it. Another thing I wanted to mention is the pixel density on the screen of the iPad is actually less than the pixel density of the iPhone. So going back to ebook reading, text on the iPhone, if you display it at the exact same size, is going to actually look better than on the iPad, because the pixel density of the screen on the iPhone is actually better than it is on the iPad. So I just wanted to say that. I would say that if you don't have an iPhone and/or a laptop, the iPad would be great for you. But if you do already have those things, the iPad sort of diminishes in usefulness as far as I'm concerned. But if I didn't have a laptop, I think the iPad I could justify, or if I didn't have my iPhone, the iPad I could also, I would also probably really like to have. Now, I'm not ruling the iPad out for the future. As time goes on, more better, cooler apps are going to be, developed for the iPad. Also, Apple has just announced that in the fall, multitasking will be available on the iPad, so that might make it a little bit more useful. And there might be certain applications that I haven't envisioned yet that I might want an iPad for. So I'm certainly not ruling it out. I may consider buying an iPad at some point in the future. Just right now, at the present time, I just can't really justify it. So that's primarily, and also in the future, the price might come down too on the iPad too. So that's another reason. If the price comes down to make it more worth my while and easier for me to justify, then I will probably get an iPad too at that time. So anyway, just wanted to leave those comments about why a longtime Apple fan has returned his iPad. If you have any viewpoints or alternative comments that you want to leave, please feel free to do so. But thanks for watching this video, and take care. Bye.